Another day, another collection video. What is going on, ladies and gentlemen? It's your favorite mask collector's favorite mask collector, AJ Good, here at the House of Masks, where we unbox and review cool stuff almost every single day. And in today's video, we are going to be taking a look at my full silicone mask collection. I was thinking about it yesterday and I was like, dang, it's been like a year since I started collecting silicone masks. I got my first silicone mask a little over a year ago in St. Louis, and I also made a connection down in St. Louis which would lead me to more silicone masks. So I've got a few pieces now, enough that I think it warrants an actual collection video. I think we can consider my silicone mask collection a legitimate collection at this point, and I figured why not do a run through, see where we've gotten in a year's time. So we are going to be starting with my first ever silicone mask. Actually, that is not entirely true. I did have a silicone Freddy Krueger piece back in probably 2015, 2016, but I got rid of that pretty quickly. It just never really fit into my collection, and I wasn't set out on collecting silicone pieces then. And I also have a couple We Are Not Your Kind Corey replicas and a real deal We Are Not Your Kind Corey, but I also don't really count them. I'm talking full-on special effects silicone masks straight from Silicone Mask Company. So the first one that is in my current collection, the first one that I ever purchased myself, is going to be this piece here from Madness FX Masks. Now, I picked this piece up as a cash and carry down at Trans World Haunt Show, my first ever Trans World visit last year. And again, it's been a little over a year. I just really liked this sculpt. I liked the finish. I thought that the weird, like, old school 1930s, 1940s football cap was kind of strange. It almost, like, reminds me of a pilot or something. I don't know. I just thought that it was very strange. It was very affordable. I think I paid $300, maybe $350 for this, and I was excited to have it. Now, it didn't come with a bust, so I just threw it on this weird plasticky one that isn't quite big enough for the piece, but it's alright. It looks good on there. Eventually, I will get a full, proper silicone mask bust for this, but it's just not been a priority. I'm gonna be honest, after I got this mask home and I took a photo in it to post on Instagram, I just set it up on the shelf and haven't touched it since then. So this is the first time that I'm really paying attention to this mask since last year. But again, it was just a cheap pickup, something for me to walk away from Trans World with, because most of the vendors down there don't do cash and carry stuff. They're just trying to get orders to fill up their schedules for the rest of the year and get stuff out to people by Halloween. So it's a little bit of a different style convention than what you're probably thinking. Now, there are obviously a lot of booths that will sell stuff, but it's just a little more uncommon for people like Madness FX, CFX, Immortal Masks, stuff like that. So this was my big takeaway from last year's Trans World, and I love this thing. It was my first silicone mask that I purchased, so really, I'm trying to consider this like my first actual silicone mask, and this was me dipping my toes into the water. But I mentioned at Trans World last year, I also made a connect that would lead me to many more silicone masks. 4 more silicone masks since then. And who else could that be other than George from Immortal Masks, the actual silicone mask gods? They are just the godfather of the silicone mask world, and if you know anything about masks, you probably know about Immortal. So let's go ahead and take a look at my Immortal pieces. Alright, so the first Immortal piece that I'm going to be showing you guys today is actually the newest Immortal piece to enter my collection. So this is the last item that I've gotten from Immortal. Hopefully more are on the way, but I'm showing this thing off first because I did just do a video about it. It just came in a few weeks ago, and because it doesn't really have a place yet. I've not found a permanent place for this. I am going to have to do some work in my little Silent Hill / horror video game section, because I do have some similar items over there. Obviously, I've got some Silent Hill stuff. I want to add some Siren stuff over there, and maybe even some Fatal Frame stuff, but I also have some stuff that seems very closely related to whatever this is from. Now, this is obviously based off of a very well-known video game, and hopefully it's clicking for you guys and you understand what I'm saying. I sure would hate to be the last of whoever is not out there understanding the references here. But regardless, this thing doesn't have a place yet, so I figured I would go ahead and grab it since it's just kind of floating around the museum loose. we could show this off here, and then I'll take you guys off of the tripod up to the front area of the House of Masks and show you guys the other guys, because they're in a little bit more of a permanent place and surrounded by other masks that I don't really want to have to move, but it also will break away from this style of shooting. We shoot from the tripod at this table a lot, and it's nice to take a break and show you guys some areas of the House of Masks that you don't quite get to see too often. But yeah, we've got Spore. This is hands down one of my all-time favorite Immortal pieces. Probably my favorite Immortal piece in the collection right now. I do have some original concept pieces up front that aren't quite based off of anything like this thing would be. This is like a replica. I guess you could consider this a replica. And the other items are not replicas of anything that exists. They're just original pieces. And I love those for what they are. But when it comes to like sheer craftsmanship and beauty, I think it's going to be really, really tough to beat this thing. It is an absolutely phenomenal piece. It is just gorgeous. I don't really know what else to call it. It's just magnificent. There is a lot of skill and effort and time that went into this piece, and I think it speaks for itself, obviously. And again, I just think that it's going to be hard to beat this one. So yeah, dude, the Spore variant. This is my latest acquisition. Is that what you call it? Acquisition. This is my latest acquisition from Immortal Masks. And again, I hope that there are more to come. But speaking of Immortal Masks, let's go ahead and check out what we've got up in the front room area.
A few moments later.
All right, here we go. Oh, and we're off. So pay no mind to the mess that you're about to see. We've got totes, we've got guitar boxes, we've got dead kids on the ground. Anyways, we're going to make our way up towards the very front of the building. This is the first room of the building and will eventually all be horror related. And the idea is to have shelving like this go all the way around. That's going to move, that's going to move. And eventually this little living room, meeting, hangout area is also going to move. So all of these walls will be nothing but shelves just like this. And it will kind of resemble this room, except instead of music related stuff, it's all going to be horror related stuff. That could be TV shows, that could be movies, that could be video games. And yeah, I just want to do all horror. I want to make a lot of room up here, especially after we get the new addition to the building, which I'll explain a little bit more about in the future. But for right now, we are just up here to show off these silicone pieces. And this is where all the rest of my silicone pieces live. Actually, we've got this guy in here too. But we've got the other Immortal pieces I was telling you guys about. We have the Apparition, we have Grandma with a special paint job, and we have the La Llorona mask, which I'm probably saying wrong. But yeah, dude, this is where they are, this weird little catch-all area, which actually looks pretty cool, but was genuinely just thrown together in a few minutes for Palefest. I wanted, when you walked in, for people to not look at a big blank wall, which is what this was. There was nothing here except for the Myers and the Papa, and that thing was hanging up, but none of this other stuff was here, and I needed to have something for people to look at instead of a blank wall. So I just started taking masks, just all kinds of different masks. We've got independent artist masks, like nice little custom guys. We've got these hand-painted cheapies here, and then we've got like unaltered store-bought masks. So we've got a variety of everything, and amongst them are the Immortal masks. Now, eventually, when I have stockpiled enough Immortal pieces, this might all end up being Immortal pieces. I think Immortal amongst this wall would look fantastic. And even if it's not all Immortal, silicone masks are like a ballpark of their own. So it would be nice to have a true dedicated silicone mask selection, or section, I guess. I'm just saying words at this point. But yeah, I think that that would be cool. Not that this doesn't look cool, but this isn't really supposed to be a permanent thing. It was just thrown together, as I mentioned. So yeah, but let's talk a little bit more in detail about these pieces. So we've got the Apparition, and this is the stained paint job. Just a nice little like cloth style ghoul ghost type thing. Super, super cool. Definitely spooky. Absolutely love the sculpt on that. I love that you can't tell if what you're looking at is some sort of translucent ghost-like fog, or if it is some sort of fabric, or if it's like a rotting, melting skin. You really can't tell where one thing starts and one thing ends. I definitely like that it kind of has an almost sheet-like, like a sheet ghost style fabric covering. I don't know how to explain what I'm saying, but you guys are looking at it, and I think that you can tell exactly what I mean. moving on, we've got maybe the creepiest mask from Immortal. I saw this on the floor at the Transworld Haunt Expo last year and fell in love with it, and George was kind enough to send me the actual one, so I've got a connection with this old lady right here. She scared the shit out of me down there. I just thought that was so fucking freaky, and I've worn that thing, and it is truly, truly terrifying. So we've got the grandma mask, and it's got a special clown-like, mime-like paint job on it, and it's fucking scary. It just is what it is. It's just scary. There's something about elderly people that are terrifying. And then you take an elderly person and you put them in some weird makeup, it gets even scarier. So, love the wig on this thing, love the sculpt. It is absolutely perfect, and it's scary as shit. And speaking of scary as shit, we've got the La Llorona mask with another stained paint job. I think this is my third stained Immortal mask. So this is the stained paint job on the Apparition. This is the stained paint job on the La Llorona, and we've got the Spore mask over here, and that is also the stained paint job, which is pretty cool. I never meant for that to be the case. It's just what happened, but I'm good with it. So, again, this thing is absolutely terrifying. I think I want to wear this for Halloween when we go out trick-or-treating this year, or if we're just walking around and handing candy out or doing whatever we're doing. I think this is going to be my choice because I think that's scary, and I think that I can do some more scary stuff with it. I think that if I have blood coming out of these holes, blood coming out of the eyes, just some weird textures going on, different fluids on the mask, it'll take on a completely new life. But again, just a terrifying sculpt with a really, really cool paint job. So, yeah, dude, those are my Immortal pieces. This is my silicone mask collection. I mean, some of it. We've got this guy over there, but you guys get the point. I didn't want to move all of this stuff just to shoot this video when this video actually gives me a chance to come up here and show you guys parts of the collection that you don't see too much. And this is a part that I don't really think we've ever talked about on video. So this is the first time on the channel we're talking about this little section right here. And it gives some shine to some other guys that have sent stuff in. A lot of people think that I just like throw their masks anywhere, but I really do have them in the collection. I like to put these places where they're going to be seen and loved and not broken and not shoved in totes whenever I get the chance to. Now, I do have a lot of stuff in totes, but that's just because I don't have any room. I mean, obviously, I am dealing with that issue right now, but I love all these pieces, but I love the silicone pieces, and I love that I finally get the chance to shoot a video on them because I feel like I have enough of them now to do so. I feel like five, like Booker T.
Five-time WCW champion.
5 silicone masks is a pretty decent silicone mask collection, especially since it's only been a year since I started collecting them. So yeah, this guy will eventually go over here in this little video game area. Now obviously this is mostly Silent Hill, but for right now I don't have enough of a video game horror collection to really, like justify doing something other than putting stuff in this little Silent Hill area. So I'm thinking maybe I'll just get one of those like 2 square stackable shelf things, and that Spore mask can go right there on top, and I'll find some other little collectibles to stick in there, because we do have a Last of Us mask right there that is pretty similar to that Spore piece. I mean, one of them's a little better. I don't know if you guys can tell, but that was the first clicker mask that I had, so I stuck it down in here. And again, I'd like to get like some Fatal Frame stuff and some Siren stuff, because I think that those video games fall right in line with Silent Hill. And The Last of Us is a pretty odd man out, because it's not like an actual horror game. It's more of a survival apocalypse drama, to be honest, whereas Silent Hill and, Siren, and what was the other one, Fatal Frames, those are all straight up horror. They're like psychological horror, but video games. So that's the little video game section, and it is what it is for right now. I've just got stuff overflowing. This was purchased in St. Louis this year. This guy just came home. We've got Billy the Puppet over here with nowhere to go. We've got this TCM set that I just took photos of earlier, waiting for their place up here on the TCM shelf. But it all needs rearranged. It all needs organized. And I have a feeling that that organization and rearranging is coming soon, because we are losing control up here. So, yeah, let's take this back, put you guys on the tripod once again, and do an outro for this video. Alright guys, so there you have it, my full silicone mask collection. I know it's only 5 masks, but I feel like 5 silicone pieces in 1 year is pretty good because those things aren't cheap, and I feel like my selection is pretty solid. So it's obviously quality over quantity with me, as it's always been for my collections. And I just wanted to shoot that video. I feel like the timing was pretty good on that and just made sense to kind of shoot this video about a year into my silicone mask journey. So there you have it. Hopefully many more silicone pieces to come in the future. Big shout out to George over at Immortal Masks, who is pretty much solely responsible for making this video happen. He has sent me mask after mask, and I really appreciate that. Immortal absolutely knocks it out of the park with everything that they do, so I can't praise that company enough, and George is a great dude, so I can't praise him enough. So thank you, George. Now with all that being said, we're gonna go ahead and end this video. Thank you guys very much for watching. I truly appreciate it, and I hope that you've enjoyed it. Go do something nice for somebody today. Matter of fact, call your favorite person right now and just tell them that you love them. That is going to do it for me here at the House of Masks. So until next time, this has been AJ Good telling you to say no to drugs and alcohol and yes to silicone, and we will see you guys in the next one.